After Poland had lost its independence in 1795, the troops of participation nations Russia, Prussia and Austria subsequently occupied Wawel, which finally passed into the hands of the Austrian. The new owners converted to the castle and some of the secular buildings into a military hospital and demolished some others, including churches. After a period of the Free City of Krakow, Wawel once more annexed by Austria and turned into a citadel dominating the city. By a resolution passed by Sejm of Galicia in 1880, the castle was presented as a residence of Emperor of Austria Franz Joseph I. The Austrian troops left his hill between 1905 and 1911. At the turn of the 20th century, through restoration, the cathedral was constructed, and shortly afterwards proceeds of the restoration of the royal castle began, which lasted several decades. When Poland gained its independence in 1918, the castle served as an official residence of the head of the state and as museum of the historic interiors. During the Nazi occupation, the castle was a residence of the German Governor General Hans Frank. Polish people managed to remove the most valuable objects, including the tapestries and Szczerbi's coronation swords, to Canada, from where they returned as late 1959 and 1961. At the present, the main curators of Wawel are Wawel Royal Castle State Art Collections and the Metropolitan Basilica Board on Wawel Hill. The Battle of Grunwald, first Battle of Tannenberg or Battle of Żarglice, was fought on the 15th of July 1410 during the Polish-Lithuanian-Teutonic War. The Battle of Grunwald is regarded as one of the most important in the histories of Poland and Lithuania. In the history of Ukraine, a battle is better associated with Vytautas the Great, who stood as the leader of Eastern Orthodox Christianity at the time. The monument to the Battle of Grunwald was erected in Krakow, Poland, for the Battle of 500th anniversary. It was destroyed during World War II by Germans and rebuilt in 1976. A German National People's Party propaganda poster from 1920s depicts Teutonic Knights threatened by a Pole and a Socialist. The Battle of Grunwald is commemorated on a tomb of unknown soldier in Warsaw with inscription Grunwald, the 15th of July 1410. The last designated of the Piast dynasty, Casimir the Great, brought Wawel to a state of unexpected splendor. In 1364, the expanded Gothic castle witnesses the marriage of the Casimir graduated Elizabeth to Charles IV, accompanied by a famous convention of kings and princes, subsequently attended by a rich burgher, Wierzchnik. The accession to the throne in 1385 of Jadwiga from Hungarian dynasty of Andewagens and her marriage to a Lithuanian prince, Ladislav Jagiello, started another era of diplomacy for Wawel. The royal court employed local and Western European artists and also Rus painters. During the reign of Casimir Jagiellon, the silhouette of the hill was arranged by three high brick towers: the fifth tower, St. Dominguez Tower, and a St. Udal Tower. The Italian Renaissance arrived at the Wawel in the early 16th century. King Alexander and his brother Sigmund I the Old commissioned the structure of a new palace in order of the Gothic residence